Crikey, top research. Box office top 10, disturbingly, once again, starting at number 10. The Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan, new entry.
Let me start by being clear about one thing. I've been off for 2 weeks, and I have not seen any new releases in the last 2 weeks. Hang on.
This is not right.
With the exception of The Pope's Exorcist.
Which is next.
So I haven't seen it, but I know that Robbie reviewed Three Musketeers last week.
Fine. Number 9, 7 in America, The Pope's
Exorcist,
which looked, from its trail, ludicrous nonsense.
Yeah, here's the thing. The whole idea of Russell Crowe playing Father Amort is completely daft anyway. As I said before, William Friedkin made a documentary about Father Amort called The Devil and Father Amort, in which he asked me if I would just do a couple of polishes on his commentary. I think he asked me kind of just out of politeness, to be honest, and I did very, very little. He sent me the thing. I shifted a few things around, and then he was kind enough to give me a credit. And the whole thing about The Devil and Father Amort was, it was after William Friedkin had made The Exorcist, which has levitation, head spinning, projectile vomit, all that stuff happening. He had filmed an exorcism performed by Father Amort in which none of the above happened. And the whole point about it was he had started out writing this as an article for a magazine because he thought, as the person who had filmed perhaps the most famous exorcism in the history of cinema, shouldn't he actually go and see what one actually looks like? And the exorcism that you see in The Devil and Father Amort there's very little. It's disturbing. It's very distressing. It's somebody who is in a state of, clear anxiety and upset, and, how one interprets it. I don't believe in demonic possession, but there we are. But it's the whole thrust of the documentary was, I made The Exorcist, but this is what actual possession, exorcism looks like. And Billy became very, very fascinated by Father Amort and believed that he was, a very, very serious character, quite funny, quite wry. And it is true that in the Pope's Exorcist, the character played by Russell Crowe is quite funny, quite wry. But the film is it's showgirls with demons. It is that level of bonkers.
Yes. The
final act of Exorcist 3, which is the stuff that they put in after Blatty had originally made the film, and they said, well, this is no good. It hasn't got an exorcism. You have to have explosive special effects. So the final act of Exorcist 3, in which there's lightning in the cell and this huge, all crucifix comes up through the floor and it's got Father Karras on it with the weird head, and George C. Scott is stuck to the wall. That's what the Pope's Exorcist is like. I would be lying if I told you I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
It is absolutely mad. And I think that at least Russell Crowe probably understood his Italian accent, incidentally. You remember when he was talking about the Robin Hood accent?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you don't want to be challenging him on his accent ever.
It's one of the very few films that does come into that so bad it's actually quite fun category.
New entry at number 8, Kissy Cowboy, Kissy Kijan.
Again, now that wasn't reviewed last week because it wasn't press screen, but if anybody has seen it, please do send us an email.
Number 7, Renfield.
Again, was off for the last 2 weeks, but there's an interview with Nicholas Hoult, I think 2 weeks ago, about the film.
Number 6 in this country is a new entry, which is Missing.
Again, off for 2 weeks, haven't seen the film.
Will you catch up?
Well, I'll catch up with some, yes.
Air is at 5.
Well, it was interesting because I was listening, in our absence to the critics, having their say on it. And, my feeling about it is still the same as it was when I was watching it. I kind of enjoyed it. I like, I kind of like the interplay between the characters, and there's no question that Ben Affleck knows how to direct. He did Argo and all the rest of it. But it is in the end. There's no way of getting around this. It is in the end, and then they signed the deal to license the shoe. So it's a film which is. I know other people have said, well, you don't understand the cultural significance of it. No, I do understand the cultural significance of it. And it is still a film about signing a shoe deal.
All the fours. UK number 4, US number 4, John Wick chapter 4.
It's the best and surely the last. There is no way this can now pick up from here.
Not that I realised that at the time.
I thought it was terrific, and and you commented on the irony of One Fine Day having a scene in which they walk up the same steps that John Wick had killed everybody on twice.
Yes, One Fine Morning, isn't it?
One fine morning. What did I say?
One Fine Day.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Un beau matin. One fine morning. Yes, morning. My mistake. Sorry.
Oui,
C'est vrai.
Number 3 here, number 5 in the States, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Based on the board game, look at me, the board game,
Yes.
Child 3.
Yes.
I don't believe I said otherwise, but if I did,
There it is.
you didn't correct me last night. I thought it was good fun, so much more fun than we had any right to expect, and really entertaining.
Evil Dead Rise is a new entry at number 2.
Listening to Robbie last week talking about this has made me think this is the one that I will catch up with, because of the way Robbie described it. He said, there are things going on that are so disgusting that you can't believe they're on screen. And yet it sounded like, okay, sign me up. So I am going to see that this weekend.
Nick Ord, long-term LTE and a heritage vanguardista. Dear Deadites and Dead Dearies, Evil Dead Rise. As a long-standing lover of the franchise, I loved this latest one, which combines the of the 1981 original and the of the 2013 reboot. Quotes from The Good Doctor, for a full splat sequel to both. That is to say, I feel the original trilogy skews a little too Three Stooge silly for modern audiences, whereas the 2013 film is too self-serious to appeal to hardcore Raimi fans. This new film walks the cheese grater's edge as perfect connective tissue between the two. With this in mind, wouldn't it be great to see Ash, Mia and Beth team up / square off in the next one? Also, having just left the cinema, I must congratulate the film for achieving something we rarely see, and I haven't seen in years, a full cinema, plus something I don't think I have ever seen. The whole of the front row stood up at once and walked out after 5 minutes. So they'd obviously come together and they were in the wrong thing.
But did somebody say Evil Dead Rise and they all got up and walked out? Was it a title thing?
Well done to Lee Cronin and team for putting the saw back in Chainsaw, as well as for the gnarliest wood chipper scene since Tucker and Dale.
I'd just like to remind everybody that when the first Evil Dead came out and it was distributed by Palace, who put it simultaneously on video and into cinemas, and it was prosecuted under the Obscene Publications Act at the Snaresbrook Crown Court, where it won the case. But one of the BBFC examiners, James Furman, saw it and thought that it was the Three Stooges with custard pies for blood for custard pies. But one of the BBFC examiners who saw it said that they felt like watching the film had left them physically assaulted.
Okay, not a good thing.
No, I think that's put that on the poster.
I won't be catching up with that one. Number 1 here, number 1 in the States is the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Staggering amounts of money. I mean, just absolutely staggering amounts of money. So that the current total is 41 million. It's approaching the billion mark worldwide. And for a film which is as average as it is, and it is, it's not terrible, it's not great, it's just, it does prove that the vacuum theory, that we are not satisfying the younger audience, because the reason Super Mario Brothers movie is doing as well as it is doing is because of the absence of other material for that young audience. And I think if you looked at a cinema chart from from previous decades, you'd be surprised at how little of this chart is actually for young audiences. And that is I think that is a major issue.
We would love to hear your thoughts on all and any of these. You can email us kermodeandmayo.com. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. While you're here, check out all the other videos because they're cool too, aren't they?
Yeah, and if you want to keep up to date with everything Kermode and Mayo's take, then check out our social channels.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
I mean, I would. I have done.
Excellent.